right, thank you for staying with us. It is still Milan 98.3 FM, the sound of Lagos. And time check right now is 7:42 a.m. It's December. The excitement is out there. Now it is actually beginning to look a lot like Christmas. And Happy New Month to everyone out there. Happy New Month and Merry Christmas in advance and so many other festive messages and heartfelt, thoughts to everyone who is listening to the sound of my voice right now. And I know what the economy is saying. I know what our pockets are saying. I know what the accounts are saying. But through it all, it's very, very important that you try to find joy in whatever it is that you have, in wherever it is that you find yourself. Try to find joy. Try to be content, so that you can live a little. Because the moment you start, wanting for more, you're going to ignore what you already have, and that's just, going to make you miserable. All right. So it's just very important. Acknowledge what you have. Very, very important. Acknowledge what you have. Acknowledge those that are around you, your family, your friends, and your loved ones, those who are really, really solid behind you. Appreciate them. And, you never can tell. You just never ever know, because what you attract, what you celebrate is what you attract, and what you despise, you're going to dispel it. It's not going to come. All right. So just, live a little. Very, very important. And be happy and make someone smile. All right. This is a season of giving. So happy new month. Welcome to the month of December, the very last month in the year 2024. And we have been through a lot as a country. We have been through a lot as a people. We have been through a lot. We have just gone through so many things, but then so help us God. It's time for Trends in the Papers on Milan 98.3 FM. This is the time where we get to look through the major trending stories across the papers this morning. All right, and we have our papers, the Punch, Vanguard, and the Guardian newspaper, of course, in no particular order. All right, so we'll be looking through the major stories, and then we have Fuhad Sahid on standby to give analysis to the stories that we're going to be treating this morning. So we'll do that up until about 8:30, and we'll take a short commercial break. By 8:40, we are back for Mainland Focus, and that's the part where you, our dear, precious, beautiful, amazing listener, you get to be a part of the conversation, either via the phone line or via WhatsApp or Facebook or YouTube. All right, so stay tuned for that one. So all you have to do is stay with us as we go through the major stories. But of course, we are social. We are live on Facebook and YouTube at Milan 98.3 FM. So you can drop your comments even whilst the show is going on. And by the time we move on to Milan Focus, we'll take them as the show progresses. All right. So the handle to look out for on Facebook and YouTube is Mainland 98.3 FM. So you can join the program even as we are moving this morning. All right. So both Facebook and YouTube. Handle to look out for Milan 98.3 FM. Don't forget, you can also listen to us live on our website on www.milanfm.com. Just click on the listen live icon and you're good to go, real time. And also Radio Garden app. Just download Radio Garden app on your phone and you are also good to go. So today being Monday, it's very, very important for us to look through the major stories that trended over the weekend. And we had quite a lot to look at. The major headline on the front page of the Guardian weekend was why economic expansion isn't yielding results, and they gave quite a lot. We may not be able to dig deep into that, but it's on page 8 of the Guardian weekend. We also have here the president hails Okonjo-Iweala's reappointment as WTO Director General. That's the World Trade Organization, and that's something a lot of Nigerians are still reeling on, are still reeling in. They're still in that euphoria, celebrating our own, as she was just, it was just like handed to her, just give it to her. It was an amazing one. Anyways, all right. And then we also have some political conversations as well. Whether or not Seyi Makinde, governor of Oyo State, has an ambition or has a presidential ambition. That's something that you may want to dig deep into page 5 of the Guardian weekend for. And we also have here, also on the front page of Guardian, the weekend Guardian, Ondo Watch, Aida Toa should prioritize education quality. Those were the major stories. But aside from that, we also have here Governor Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State has made mention that the NYSC permanent orientation camp will be ready by December. We're looking out for that one. Ex-aviation minister Chidoka resigns from PDP. That's interesting. You may want to dig deep into the Guardian newspaper for that one as well. We also have some other stories here. Okay, all right. We also have some other major stories here, but then let's also see what we have from the Punch newspaper. NLC strike may fail as states are beginning to pull out, and that's as regards the minimum wage action, because we have Imo, Sokoto, Katsina, Oyo, Akwa Ibom have withdrawn from the industrial action. But then you have Kaduna, Zamfara, Nasarawa, FCT are prepared to down their tools for today. We'll see how that will turn out, of course. And another major story here, Nigerians shelve travel plans over soaring fares and insecurity. So a lot of people will not be traveling this Christmas period, and I think it's something everyone should prepare for, because usually Lagos seems lighter during the December period, during the Christmas period, because a lot of people go travel home to spend the season with their family, friends, and their loved ones in their country homes. But a lot of people will not be traveling, so we may still have that hustle bustle in the city of Lagos. That's all we can really take for this morning. We have quite a lot to discuss this morning. My name is Omobola Sandra, and I have Fuad Sahid somewhere along the phone line ready to give in-depth analysis to the stories that we will be treating this morning. Don't forget, you are listening to Mainland 98.3 FM. This is the Morning Express, and we're kicking things off with trends in the papers. Time check right now is 7:48 a.m. and it's time for us to look through the major stories. We'll start with the Punch newspaper, but before then, good morning, Fuad. Oh, yes, we're yet to connect. That's fine. Yes, good morning,
Good morning, Sandra. How are you doing?
I'm well, thank you very much. Happy New Month.
Yeah, happy New Month to you too.
Fuad, are we
Yes,
in a jolly good mood?
very good mood.
Yeah, smile for the camera. Oh, dear Lord. Yesterday on Political Roundtable, I was reading some messages, and as regards the Port Harcourt refinery, whether it's operational or whether it's functional or not. And some people are saying, oh, look at what Adeola Yusuf has said. People are not happy with what Adeola Yusuf has said as regards to
Actually, they want him to lie to them.
People are not happy, and they want to what they want to hear is that no, it's not working at all. And
No. It doesn't work like that. No, it doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. Even the updates we have on the papers today shows that there's something happening. There's some skeletal work
that was
going
what
on at
Mr.
that
Timothy
facility.
said. The man from the Aleste community or Alie community or so, that was what he said. He said that what they are doing is skeletal operations. I don't know if you listen to that man from one of the communities that
the community, one of the host
communities in Eleme in Port Harcourt.
Yeah, I'm with you.
The man said, that it was skeletal operations, that it's not full operations, and that, as against what they said, that 200 trucks have already been, that's not what's happening, it's 6 trucks. So he was just stating, contrary figures as regards, okay, this is what NLC said, this is what, we know.
Really going on there.
Exactly.
Well, I give an analogy that, look, if you have somebody who has been in coma for years, morbid, at the ICU, they were probably going to take off the life support from the patient, and then suddenly he starts to shake his hand. It gives a glimmer of hope, if you understand what I'm saying. So whether they are loading 6 or 7 trucks, the fact is that, look, something is happening again at that refinery. Whether we are blending or not blending, at least we've put it into some form of use, as against the several years of complete abandonment, if you understand what I'm saying, Sandra. I think the problem really, and you can't blame Nigerians who don't trust anything that comes out from that quarters. The NNPCL has consistently lied to Nigerians. They've had failed promises, failed timelines. So Nigerians have been, have just taken a position not to believe anything that comes from there. So even when it's happening, they keep casting doubts on it. I told you that I had a 1 hour conversation even before yesterday's program with Adela Yusuf.
Mm.
And I think both of us concluded that, look, there seems to be a problem with information management from the NNPCL. Why did they have to rush to the press when they are still calibrating or calibrating? Again, in the papers today, they are already talking about some little glitches which they are trying to fix, and that's why they decided to scale down operation at that facility. Why not get everything right completely, Sandra? Get it fixed, get it ready, sort out the issue of pricing, calibrate or recalibrate, whatever you want to do. Ensure that at the point when you announce to the world that Nigerians that this thing has started working again, people can start to load products from the refinery. And then you already have a pricing template. So that it takes away any doubt that anybody may be casting on what is happening at that particular facility. But again, we have some few days more. Adiola Yusuf had announced yesterday that he was going to be there. I'm hoping that he would have landed in Port Harcourt today and would have been on his way to that particular facility. But I think that, look, I think the refinery is back to work. But I think there's still some more work that needs to be done on that particular facility.
Well, thank you very much, Sedford. Let's just see what we have for this morning then, because aside from a lot of people seem to be paying so much attention on the Port Harcourt refinery, whereas we also have some other major issues that is making the rounds, across the nation. But of course, time check right now is 7:53. You're on to trends in the papers, and we're kicking things off with the major headline on the front page of the Punch newspaper: tax reform. So the reps have suspended debate indefinitely as northern governors mount pressure. And we have riders here that says 72 lawmakers, Zulum, Tambuwal reject bills. APC slams critics as northern groups protest. So still on this particular conversation, as regards, the tax reform.
It's the biggest one out there, actually.
Exactly, as against the Port Harcourt refinery conversation. Mr. Taiwo Oyedele tried all through last week trying to defend and, trying to, make us see the lights as regards
the FIRS man too.
Zacchaeus Adedeji as well. Everyone is trying to, so this is what this is. But what we now have as an update on that is the House of Reps has suspended indefinitely the debate on the tax reforms bill that was earlier fixed for tomorrow, following mounting pressure from the 19 northern states governors. And the planned debate was called off in a memo signed by the clerk of the House of Reps, Dr. Yahaya Danzaria, as 73 northern lawmakers have kicked against the bills. And those who rejected the bills include 48 members from the Northeast, 24 federal lawmakers from Kano, and a former governor of Sokoto State, that's Senator Amin Tambuwal, yes, who represents Sokoto South Senatorial District. And what we now have is there's a memo dated November 30th titled Rescheduling of Special Session on Tax Reforms Bills. And I tried to dig deep into it for her, because a lot of financial planners, a lot of financial experts are also, having a say as regards this. And some people are trying to open the eyes of the North and the Middle Belt to, the advantages that they stand to gain from the, tax reforms. We have four major areas in this particular, tax reform bill. There are four major areas. But of course, there's a particular aspect of it that, is giving the it's giving the northern leaders some sort of sleepless nights. All right. And that's as regards, the sharing formula of VAT. Basically, that's the major, issue here. Yes. And, trying to see if there's any advantage or trying to see if, they can actually see the light as regards this particular bill. Some experts have said that the North may have an advantage of a lower labor cost, that they have an advantage of solar power. They are potentially the largest source of power from a single point, and that's the hydro dam that's in Taraba State. The land for mechanized agriculture, advantage of freshwater river with fish. They have gold. They have so many other resources that they can actually, bank on, even if this VAT sharing template comes to play. But it is still a major issue, as regards this. Do you think maybe they need more time for the, for the FRS, for the revenue guys, for the tax guys to shed more light? Maybe there's an understanding somewhere, or do you share the concern of the Northern leaders?
Well, Sandra, I think the loudest and the most important voice that have now spoken against this tax bill is the governor of Borno State, Babagana Zulu, Professor Babagana Zulu. It's been a battle of Senator Ali Undume, also from Borno State, and a few voices, Senator Ningi, Abdul Ningi also, and a few northern legislators. But I think the problem is this, Sandra, because on this matter, there can never be a consensus. It's going to benefit this, it's not going to benefit this, or this sharing is going to do this and that. Like you said, Mr. Oyedele has been doing a lot of talking. Zacchaeus Adediji, the FIS man, has also been doing a lot of talking. But I think that there's a bit of trust deficit somewhere, especially for some of our northern leaders who think that, look, there's a legalization of the government. And that, look, a lot of their policies are geared towards, giving some special benefits to Lagos in terms of revenue, in terms of structure, in terms of development, and what have you. I told by Sakoti yesterday, it was on the Yoruba, newspaper review show. I told Kokorede that, look, even before this tax bill, people like Senator Ali Undume had always had issues with the fact that, look, a lot of the appointments of the government has always come from, because they're the Lagos boys. They think they are too smart. Oh, they think they are wise. They just want to shove these things down their neck. They don't care and all of that, So, but I think if there's somebody that people respect so much in the northern part of the country as a governor, it has to be Professor Babagana Zulu. And he was very clear about his position and the position of the Northeast. Yeah, on a televised program where I said that, look, they are for now completely against the bill because they feel it's not going to help the Northeast. It's not even going to help other parts of the country. That the only state that will benefit from that bill
is Lagos.
Sandra, when we check and recheck, probably will not be able to arrive at a consensus on all of these statements. But I think that, look, the president probably should have allowed the decision at the next meeting that bill should be withdrawn from the National Assembly and that should be taken back for more consultation, stakeholder engagement before it is now reintroduced to the National Assembly. I think we would have taken that because it was a next decision, if you remember, chaired by the Vice President, Kashim Shettima, only for the President to say, no, let it go. Whatever input you want to have, do it at the National Assembly when this bill is being debated. But the fear of most of these northern governors, and even some of the northern senators and House of Rep members, you have a completely rubber-stamped National Assembly. So their fear is that, look, the way this bill is moving, Sandra, it will be passed before we open or close our eyes. That's why they keep saying that, look, why they rush? Why are you rushing? If there's no ulterior motive, yes.
I'm with you. Please go on.
Yeah, if there's no ulterior motive, why the rush? Why are you rushing these things through? Within 1 week, you already passed it for second reading, and all of that. So they think that, look, there are motives, and that's why, the inspiration to get this thing sorted out quickly. They gave an example of the PIA bill, Sandra, that it took years for the PIA to pass, which I think is even more important to nation building than this tax reform bill. So why are you rushing it through? So let me tell you, Sandra, this is going to be a big test for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu with the northern part of the country.
Because
I've been following
now.
It has become seriously political.
Mm-hmm.
And I can tell you that the information we are getting from some of our colleagues who are in the north is that, look, they are not joking on this matter. The sentiments are high. They are already discussing it using their local language. It's already a point of discussion even in their mosques and traditional institutions. I've also been trying to monitor some groups on social media, their pattern of conversation where they are saying about this particular bill and the fact that they think it's an attack, really, an affront on the development of northern Nigeria. That's why Baba Gana Zulum is also saying that, look, the president can use all of his powers to pass this bill, but there will be consequences. And it's also alluding to the fact that, look, 62% of the vote that the president got to win the presidency came from the north, so he has to be careful on this particular one. Now, on the part of the president and the presidency, Sandra, I think President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not used to persuasive politics or politicking. You know, if you look at the way he runs Lagos, if you take it or leave it, he wants something done, he gets it. So I think he's used to this idea of wanting something and getting it done, no matter what anybody says. So I think in his own style of politicking, he's not so persuasive, if you understand. He is transactional, Sandra. Being transactional with your politicking does not mean you are persuasive. Persuasiveness means you can convince people with superior arguments, listen to their own side, carry them along with an open mind, and give them that sense of belonging on a particular issue. Transactional politics is what we've seen of him severally in Lagos, where they tell you step down. Don't worry, tomorrow something will touch you too, whether you like it or not. So people mistake transactional politics for persuasive politics. So I think the president has to understand that this is not Lagos now. This is national politics. Transactional politics will only take him far, but there might be silent consequences that will come that he might not be prepared for. I'm not trying to be a consultant here, but it's according to the consultant, Sandra. But I think on this one, he has to get into persuasive politicking, understand that, look, if it's about nation building, why don't you open it up to debate? Let's have more stakeholder engagement on this and not just go the route of take it or leave it. If you like, if you don't like, we're going to get it done. I think that's my advice or my own opinion on this particular matter.
All right. This is, I really wish, we had the time. But of course, the major issue, just as we had mentioned, was the new derivation-based model for value-added tax distribution, which according to Gombe State, negates the interest of the North and other subnationals. All right. And do me on one part is saying that, well, the reform is not the issue. It's the timing that is the issue. That it's not now. It shouldn't be now that it should be done. Let's give it time. Withdraw the bill. Get the approval of governors and stakeholders, traditional rulers,
engage more
stakeholders. Then come back with the bill. And also, before the bill can be passed, according to Ali Ndume now, he's also saying that there needs to be some constitutional review as well. That is what he's saying, because according to the northern leaders, companies remit VAT using the location of their headquarters and the tax office, and not where the services and goods are consumed. All right. They further argued that the proposal would negatively impact the North and called on lawmakers from the region to oppose the bill in its current form, demanding that national policies should promote equitable distribution to avoid regional
Sandra, you know why the VAT thing is very, very important?
Yes.
For FAC allocation that I shared every month.
It's a major component. It's a major.
I think about 45 to 50% of that component comes
from VAT. It's a major one.
So it's so if the sharing model is altered,
if we
you
want
can imagine why the North is crying and making a lot of opposition on this particular one, because the old arrangement sees more VAT, for example, collected in Lagos. But if you look at the amount that goes back to Lagos, you begin to wonder why Lagos, for example, contributes about 245 billion in VAT collection, and when they are going to get from the VAT, they probably get about 40 or 50 billion naira. But I think this model is going to alter it. So it means that, look, if you are not contributing so much to it, you might not really get as much as you get.
Yes, but that's where the northern leaders are saying that let's have a proper plan first. They're likening it to when the removal of petrol subsidy and flotation on naira, where the administration just say things, because the tax bill was sent straight to the National Assembly, all right, without any because this is the major people this tax reform bill would affect are the subnationals. So you need to carry them along. Oh, see what I'm about to do, and that's what they are saying. Engage them basically. All right, but then
and then accommodate their fears, Sandra. That's what I'm saying. The politics of persuasion. It shouldn't be, because again, if we are a country and we have agreed that we are one country, it means that for everything we do, we must collectively take care of the interests of every component and entity called Nigeria. So if they have their own fears and concerns, persuade, understand them. Let's you see, it's about nation building, really. It's not about some personal interest.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, just as far as mentioned, this is actually the hottest, conversation as at now, because the truth is, most states rely on money from FAC to fund their budget, and VAT, unfortunately, is a major component of revenues shared at FAC, which is reason why the northern leaders are speaking out. If this is going to happen, Lagos is going to be a major beneficiary of this particular one, and it's just
Lagos, Port Harcourt, because of the derivation model
yes
that's now been adopted.
So and it's going to and all the 19 northern governors, all of them have signed against it, and now we are getting reports that 70 something reps now.
Even Anambra has not taken a position yet. I think one other states too. Yes, so many states apart from even the northern states. A lot of the other states too are yet to take a position on this. So I think that the president should maybe drop his ego a bit. If there are no ulterior motives to this tax bill, withdraw the bill, engage the people the more. For example, let his tax people, the so-called Lagos boys, go to the north now to engage them and convince them as to why they should understand that this is for their benefit. So
well, it has been so
consultation should
see how that will turn out, just so that people can understand why the northern leaders are, rising up against this. It's not like, they are. All of this thing is just calculation, basically, and unfortunately, the fact that a lot of things have been directed to Lagos being the economic capital of the country, so of course the concern is still there. There are some other states
you can't fault their argument.
No, you can't. No, you
President Tinubu's appointment has been lopsided. It's been tilted majorly towards the southwest, and between Lagos and Ogun State. It's almost like that ethnic coloration, you can't really fault it. It's a bit clannish, I must say. Yeah.
Well, that's the major headline on the front page of the Punch newspaper. Rep suspend debate indefinitely as we see 72 lawmakers reject the bills. ABC slamming critics, saying, I don't know how this just became that, but the story is on page 2 of the tax of the Punch newspaper. Moving on very quickly, 9 minutes past 8, and you're listening to Trends in the Papers. So very quickly now, on Milan 98.3 FM, Port Harcourt Refinery, low-key operations begin. Marketers oppose 1,030 naira per litre. That's what we have here. That's on the front page of the Punch. It's on page 29. And yes, we have the story. So let's get into it. The Port Harcourt Refining Company has clarified that its operations were not completely halted. Over the weekend, there was a report that came in, that there was a suspension of some sorts, as regards
the halt to operations.
Yes, a halt to their operations. I think it was yes.
Punch.
Saturday Punch. Yes. Port Harcourt Refinery halts operations. Loading bay is empty. And Petron is saying they are calibrating their pumps. That's according to Saturday Punch on page 4.
Why not calibrate before you announce your opening of operation?
Anyways,
that's what we're saying.
Port Harcourt now has said they're not completely halted, but they scaled down operations to facilitate improvements at the refinery. So why did you just run and go and make announcement? You
just started. Somebody started working on Tuesday. You are now downgrading the operation.
I think it was just the excitement. Let's tell them that we are working. Let's let them know that something is happening. What do you think, Fuad? I think. What do you think?
I just think it's poor information management. Really. Yes, Nigerians have been pressing the neck of these people to. There have been a lot of questions, really. And that's why I think that if that refinery eventually comes to life fully, I think Nigerians who have always held the government to account on that facility should first and foremost congratulate themselves. Because people who keep asking questions are the reason why these guys are even doing all of these things. Just imagine those that don't want you to even question the government about some of these things. Probably not get these things to work again. But I think that as much as there's so much pressure on them to quickly announce something and celebrate it, They should have been a bit more methodical, careful about it, really. Why not wait? Why the hurry? Get everything in place, sort it out, and then make the announcement so that we are not going to have this back and forth. Now it's low key. Some people yesterday on Saturday they said it was a halt. He said it's not a halt. Up till now, marketers don't have a clear idea of pricing. It is still only the NNPCL tankers that have been seen at that facility. So I don't know really. I just think that the NNPCL should manage information better and be more methodical when it comes to the approach to some of these things.
All right then. Well, the Ipman had insisted that they will not buy from Port Harcourt's refinery because
they should go and buy Dangote now
at an expensive rate. All retailers claim that NNPC was dispensing fuel at 1,030 naira, which is 60
naira
higher. They
have not fixed prices. So where is that information coming from, Sandra? NNPC said they have not fixed prices.
Fuad. If I say I'm not fixing prices, but my customers that are buying from me are telling you this is what we are buying from you. So who will you go with?
No, but NNPCL is saying that as far as Port Harcourt refinery is concerned, whatever they are picking from there, not really for the public yet.
Are we saying the retailers?
That's what Petron talked about 75 naira more than that of Dangote. Ipman is saying this is 1,030 naira. But the people that own the facility are telling you we've not fixed prices. In fact, we have not even sold to anybody.
So what's going on? So where's the figure coming from? Where are the oil retailers getting their figure from?
It's not as if they are manufacturing the figure from their head, really. So there must be something about pricing.
The products that went out last week.
Yes.
Was it to retailers or to NNPC outlets?
Just NNPC. In fact, I don't think it's even for their outlets. I think it's just for their their depots and their storage facilities. That's what they said. So they said whatever they are selling now at their different outlets are the products they've gotten from Dangote refinery. So I don't think we have the Port Harcourt refinery products in the retail outlet yet, the NNPCL retail outlet yet, because they have not even fixed prices. That's what they are saying.
Because the terminal manager, Port Harcourt Depot, Wolu Joel, confirmed that the facility had commenced distribution of products.
To who and who? To themselves. At what price?
Although he expressed concern over low turnout of tanker drivers, he said, and I'm quoting now, "We have surplus products available and operational loading arms, but we've had to beg tanker drivers to come and evacuate products. We've loaded more than 10 trucks
you can see the problem now. Okay, you have told tanker drivers to come and pick the product. At what price?
So that's what I'm saying. That so let's go back to retail outlets, or retail, off-takers who are saying, "Oh, see, this is what they are giving it to us at," and that's a lot.
So I'm going by the press release issued by Fᴜᴜ himself at the
NNPCL. But this is the terminal manager at the
tankers. They are telling tankers to come and pick products. Is it for free? Maybe for free, Sandra. Maybe Christmas bonanza. Yes, now you can see the contradiction. That's why I said that for information management with NNPCL, it's a complete disaster. Disarray. This one says this, another one says that one. At the end of the day, they will insult you for questioning the way they put out information. The man who is a community member, they said he's talking from crass ignorance. Instead of them addressing the issue, the Fẹ́mi was busy insulting the man. Look at what we have now. Contradictory statements flying around on the very simple matter.
So we have three different looks now, Fuad. We have NNPCL on one side, we have the Port Harcourt refinery management team on another side, and then we have the retail owners on another side. So everyone were different.
Who are you going to believe, Sandra, now?
Jesus, the report of the Lord. That's who I would believe. I'm sorry. Anyways, Ipman has said it would not buy from Port Harcourt refinery if NNPCL sells the fuel at an expensive rate. Ipman is saying it was not expecting Port Harcourt refinery to be more expensive than that of Dangote. Yeah. Reacting to claims by Petron, the NNPC will sell at 1,030 naira per litre. And he said the price was not acceptable to independent marketers as they would stay with refinery owners. And said the blended PMS from the refinery should be cheaper than the one produced directly. Giving insights into the blending of petroleum products. When
I was asking you yesterday, you said there's nothing. You see that the one produced directly It's different from the one blended.
Yes, that's what the crude oil refinery owners now, the National Publicity Secretary, explaining that now.
So there's a difference.
So get this, naphtha is a flammable liquid hydrocarbon mixture used as a feedstock for producing petrol, diesel, and other petroleum products.
When they blend it with what? C5.
So in contrast, cracked C5 is used to break down heavier hydrocarbons into lighter ones. So now the NNPC's decision to blend naphtha with cracked C5 to produce petrol, that's what is the situation on ground now, and is likely aimed at increasing petrol production, improving petrol quality, or reducing production costs. So blending naphtha with cracked C5 might be more cost effective than using other feedstocks or production methods. So the point is there's a blending process going on.
You see, Sandra, I'm not even bothered with the blending process, whether we blend or not, whether we refine directly or we blend. So far, we can have the product, and the product can be to the required standard, Sandra. If it can be to the required standard, I would expect that the regulatory agencies and institutions also ensure that the product is of the required standard. So far, you see, I don't mind if Port Harcourt refinery becomes a blending plant.
Concerns have been raised. If that's what we are going to talk about, then he raised concerns about blending, environmental impact. Because, there'll be harmful emissions and pollutants due to the blending process.
Of the blending,
Yes, and also he added that the blending petrol might not meet international standards, potentially affecting vehicle performance, emissions, and safety. And he warned that if naphtha, as well as other feedstock needed for the blending, is imported, the exercise might not be sustainable on the long term.
But NNPCL has told us from their release that, look, the refinery is able to produce up to the point of naphtha. All they needed to do was to bring in the cracked C5 to blend to achieve PMS. You see, we are now becoming. Can you see what improper information, disinformation, misinformation can cause when you don't manage information properly? Are we ordinarily supposed to be talking about chemical processes now?
At this point,
when I'm not a petroleum engineer.
Exactly. Thank you very much. Because now we're looking at it from the point of, the Port Harcourt refinery is not a blending plant, but the facility does not have, the facilities to produce petrol.
Because what the experts are saying is that if you are really producing, show us the distillation unit where you are distilling this product. If you are not just merely taking these things from other refineries to come and blend in that place. And I think that proper information should be that, look, what we have so far achieved is to downgrade the operations of this refinery to a blending plant. We'll be taking products from other places to come and blend in that place, at least to have some form of work going on in the facility. Well, instead of us saying, the thing is already working, and then people are saying you are just basically blending things there.
For those who are probably wondering, an energy consultant, Henry Adigun, is saying that it is not a blending plant, it's a refinery. He said that there are different refinery stages, and that a refinery can also be a blending plant. And so the stage where the Port Harcourt refinery is at now is a stage where they can produce directly, but they are not refining. I'm sorry, I just leave it at that. It's okay, Fuad.
Let's move on.
I'm sorry, I think I'm just going to leave it at that.
I've told you that if we have reduced the capacity of the place from a refinery to the blending plant, where we take products from other places to come and blend to achieve petrol, let us know we move on with our lives.
Let's move on with our lives now. Now. Thank you, Fuad. Now. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right. It's trends in the papers on Milan 98.3 FM. Thank you for staying with us. Time check is 8:21 a.m. Still on the front page of the Punch newspaper, I have here military retirees plan protest over unpaid entitlements, and that's on page 9 of the Punch newspaper.
That's bad, Sandra. That's very bad.
Very.
Military people that have sacrificed their lives, our old veterans, they shouldn't be owing people like this, Sandra. This is wrong. You shouldn't even owe any retiree
anybody at all. But
I
mean,
not
these are people who have
their lives,
risked their lives. The story is on page 9 for further details. We also have here Swiss cement maker sells $1 billion stake in Lafarge. So they have sold it. They're not doing it again. Basically, the story is on page 25
That's
of the Punch newspaper.
I'm sure they are leaving.
They are leaving. They're not doing it again. Shimo, thank you. We also have here how Obasanjo rejected single-term presidency. And that's from Nᴇᴜsᴜ. The story is on page 8 of the Punch newspaper. So you can get further details of that one there. Legal luminary Chief Wole Nᴇᴜsᴜ SAN has said that the single-term presidency proposed to former President Olusegun Obasanjo would have stabilized Nigeria if it had been accepted. That's what he said.
How would you have stabilized Nigeria?
I don't know.
How now? Because they do 6 years one time. How would you have stabilized Nigeria?
He said
Poor, faulty electoral process. What it means is that people will still pass it around themselves. Even if you rotate it, you'll still be among themselves because there will be allies everywhere, to take over the thing. I think what we should be talking, yes, I'm with you.
He said, I'm quoting, we suggested then that there are 6 geopolitical zones. If the president comes from the southwest, for example, there will be 6 vice presidents, but each of the 6 vice presidents must have a portfolio. For instance, a vice president will be in charge of Ministry of Justice, as Attorney General, one will be in charge of education, one will be in charge of defense, and, the shebang. So we suggested
those vice presidents will be functioning like ministers or what?
Yes. We suggested that a geopolitical zone that has a vice president who holds the portfolio of education will not have a minister of education. We worked it out. We did everything for him, and that if peradventure a president from a particular geopolitical hold on, please, and that if a president from a particular geopolitical zone is impeached or dies in office, the vice president from that geopolitical zone will complete his tenure. Next time around, the presidency will move to the next geopolitical zone. By now, it would have moved around, but it didn't work out. That's according to Chief Wole Nᴇᴜsᴜ. So, forward.
Wait, Sandra. How does this suggestion now affect the quality of people that takes over leadership positions? Is it about the structure or about the process that produces people to take over the structure?
He's just looking at it from equity sharing and all of that. That's what he's just
equity to who and who, really. You can't be discussing equity when you know first address the process that brings in quality people of good mind, good conscience, good brains to run that structure you are talking about. And which is the electoral process. What we have now, Sandra, is not a problem. The structure we have now is not a problem. Like we were discussing yesterday, after the or Rani, they saying that we should change the name of the country, do regionalism or parliamentary system of government. But they are not addressing the critical issue of the electoral process that deals with the quality of people, the kind of people, the character of people that eventually get into positions of governance. How we got to the point where the worst of us seem to be ruling the best of us, you are not addressing it. So even if you do a single term, announce 88 ministers or 88 vice presidents, and you still have a poor electoral process where people of dubious character, questionable character, people without good intentions, without good brains, take over those positions. Would anything change, Sandra? I don't know. So you have to have 7 vice presidents. People want to rotate, and the other is the same of the same. Like we're discussing about regionalism yesterday, Sandra. Even if you do regionalism, the other people at the center will now move to the regions and hijack it. So same of the same.
But it sounds very pretty if you read it. I mean, the whole plan, it sounds really beautiful, very pretty.
Without makeup, I mean, it sounds pretty without makeup. Or with makeup.
Oh, natural. Thank you, Fuad. Well, time check is 8:26 a.m. Let's move on to the Guardian newspaper. You're still listening to Milan 98.3 FM. The major headline on the front page of the Guardian: Labour begins nationwide strike, cites empty promises by governors. I think about 5 states and the FCT.
Those five states should take their time.
It's okay.
Even the FCT, Sandra, never agreed to pay 70,000. Imagine.
That's the thing, and this is since April, since April. The story is on page 6 of the Guardian newspaper. Nationwide strike gone today in some states. Some states pulled out, of course, but then stories on page 6.
Those 5 states will have to deal with that with their unions. Yeah.
Moving on now, still on the front page of the Guardian newspaper, Atiku Zulum lead Northern opposition against tax bills ahead of National Assembly debate. That's also on page 6. We also have here, I never knew Gowon saved me from Abacha. That's Obasanjo.
A long one.
It's okay, Fuad. It's okay, please. It's okay.
Anyways.
It's all right.
But the two leaders are still alive.
That's the beautiful thing.
Said,
that's the beautiful thing.
They are lying after, the two leaders are still alive. Luckily, the two leaders are also elder statesmen now. The one said, I pleaded with Abacha to save Obasanjo, and miraculously, God answered that, his prayers. And, Obasanjo said, never knew. You
saying it in Yoruba makes it so much more real.
Yeah.
It's all right. But thank you very much. So it's on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. I love listening. In recent times, I mean, for the past few years, I think about 4 years or so, it's been really interesting listening to former President Olusegun Obasanjo. The story is on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. Moving on now, we also have here 2027 Splinter APC Group moves to register with INEC. That's on page 3 as well of the Guardian newspaper. Wish them all the best. Government mum as poly lecturers begin strike today. That's on page 4 as also. I think it's another thing that we should also pay some attention to. And we also have here group demand regionalism, parliamentary system, and a new name for Nigeria. I think that's been mentioned already. That's on page 3. So major ethnic groups across the country have stated that only regionalism and parliamentary system of government can solve the country's myriad challenges. I don't know about that, but I think we've already talked about this. And that's
it was on Voice Roundtable yesterday.
Yes.
The major issue.
Yes, and also this morning when, Fuad said that the major issue here is our system, our process, our institutions. All right, finally this morning, we have just a minute left on the show. It's moving on to Vanguard newspaper. The major headlines, quite an interesting one. Port Harcourt refinery and tanker drivers are at war over delay in product loading. And we have riders here. Only NNPC trucks loading petroleum products, says PHCR. That's the Port Harcourt Refining Company. You're economical with the truth. Nupeng insists. We will patronize all refineries, Miman says. We've submitted application, says Petron. We look forward to lifting from Port Harcourt Refinery, says Ipman. So many acronyms. I'll help you out. Don't worry. Just calm down. Here. So what we have very, very quickly, of course, Nupeng. We have Petro. No, hold on, please. Okay, yes. PHRC. PHRC. Port Harcourt Refining Company. All right. And petroleum tanker drivers are at war over loading products. The refining company has accused tanker drivers of being responsible for the low pace of loading. While
at what price, God said?
There's no price here now. While the tanker drivers, through their umbrella body,
which is free.
Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, that's Nupeng, dismissed the allegation, saying the company was being economical with the truth. And then you have Major Energy Marketers Association, MIMAN. You have Petroleum Products Retail Outlet Owners, Petron. You have Independent Petroleum Marketers, IPMAN, saying they were ready to lift products and they are working on it. But there's no price here, though, for any of everybody that is here to say that the loading bay, as regards loading bay or not. Loading has since stopped since last Tuesday. All supply sources will be explored. We've submitted application, and that story is on page 5 of Vanguard newspaper. And that's all we can take, unfortunately. But there's this really interesting story here on the front page of Vanguard that I think we should maybe check out. Nigerians were living fake lives before now. And that's coming from our president, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And that's on page 10 of Vanguard newspaper.
We'll come back to it. We'll come back to it.
Yeah, we'll definitely come back to it. Say Nigerians were living fake lives, before now. That's what he said. We also have here, hardship. Nigerians in urban areas are now using firewood and charcoal for cooking. And that's on page 7.
So this is their real life then. Before, when we're using gas, it's fake life.
It's all right.
Yeah. So wait, Sandra. So if we were living fake lives, our leaders, what lives are they living now? What were they living before?
Flamboyant.
We'll come back.
Partial truth.
You don't have to analyze. No, let's come back and discuss.
Okay. Well, it's on page
We're
10
leaving
of
fish
Vanguard.
rice, actually.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah. All of you that are eating goat
Really?
meat, that you are saying you're not eating goat meat now.
Instead of you to be eating pomo, you
Instead of
are
you to be
doing
eating pomo.
pontaki.
Or ejaculate. Yeah, eating pointaki. What kind of fish rice is that? That's nonsense. Anyways, stay with us. Don't go anywhere. This is Milan 98.3 FM. When we come back from this commercial break, you get to share your thoughts as regards the two focal points that we'll be selecting off the front pages of our papers.